when.
This is professional quality, everyone.
That's right.
Hey, welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ or lucky track dog league you run, SCCA or NASA, we're not going to discriminate as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself, at least a little. Join us each week for text discussions, tips, tricks, news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing. And whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we're sure you're going to giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock. This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental. Chrissy, you might want to check your audio settings. I think you're in Tube of Mockery land.
I think your mic might be off.
Yep. Hey, and we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming to a big block episode of our podcast. It is April 27th as we were recording this. So 427. Both GM and Ford had 427 cubic inch V8s. We're one day late for Chrysler. Sorry about that, Hemi lovers. GM versions came in 8 major flavors, ranging from 450 to 470 gross horsepower. So it's about 200, starting in 66 until 69. Ford's 427's evolution of the FE family of engines showed up in 63, primarily a race motor for the Cobra and GT40, but briefly available until some smaller sedans until the 428 came along. So, hey, if you're not running your big block engine, grab a small block of the E1R bingo card.
Ooh.
Well, I like that. Is there anyone here? Does anyone have a particular favorite? Are we a Ford 427 versus a Chevy 427? Anyone? No.
I have zero experience.
Yeah.
I drove one big block truck like once, and that was it. And it was under. Jeff, you had a Chevy big block for a while.
I did have a Chevy big block, but that wasn't the 427. That was like a 5 something. I don't know what it is.
All of the numbers.
It was 8100, 8100. So
yeah.
I believe that is a 454.
That's a 7.4 liter.
7.4, yeah.
7.4 there. But yeah, if you ever go to a vintage race, all of the 427s just sound like freedom.
I had a Ford 460 big block also.
That's straight out of the that's
in the Lincoln.
Definitely that's out of the FE. That's the FE family.
Yeah. Nice. Well, then I guess I like the Ford. What else are we working on?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us? You're already gone a roll.
Sure. I went to scout camp.
Woo!
And I'm still at work. I feel like I've been at work all week. I'm still here.
Check it off
your bingo card. Yes. For those of you watching on YouTube, you can see my messy office behind me instead of my messy home office. So that's like a nice little bonus.
What's in the laundry basket with the grocery bag on top of it?
Right there.
That's troubling.
No, it's not laundry. Don't worry. It's actually
I didn't think it was. I didn't think that it was laundry. I'm just troubled that that's a storage unit to you. A laundry basket and Mexican luggage.
That's
totally storage.
So that is the greatest way to carry a bunch of books and Legos for a workshop that I do on creativity.
As one does.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea how it got into a laundry basket, but anyway, yeah, I'm at work and I worked this weekend. I actually went to scout camp and worked this weekend. I left the tent, drove to Atlantic City and helped work in a citywide street cleanup. And we saw a car that Chris and I were debating on whether it was a donk or a slab or a low rider. We don't know. It was something in the low rider family.
Did it have big wheels?
No.
It did not have big wheels.
13-inch wires.
Not a donk.
On a Lincoln. That's what I said. I said more slab, except they didn't have poke. Like it didn't have the spinner sticking out the sides.
So it's just low rider.
Yeah, I think so.
It was the low rider. There it is right there.
Yeah, low rider.
Yeah.
And honestly,
cool.
slabs are mostly, I mean, with the exception of Sajeev exporting that, slabs are Houston.
Yep. And of course, because I was at scout camp, that meant we were in charge of the scout camp. So I got to drag the trailer. And there is nothing that will have deferred maintenance. Even my trailers will probably get more love than a shared trailer by a bunch of random dads who don't know what they're doing. So yeah.
So what did you fix on the trailer?
I didn't fix anything yet, but the 4-wire plug, like the flat plug, had only 3.5 things sticking out of it.
Good.
So one of them was chopped in half, and one of them was completely gone.
So this is even worse than mental stolen trailer.
Yeah.
So okay.
And it was totally loaded wrong. Like they put all the heavy stuff in the back, so it swayed really badly.
No, you sound surprised.
I know. I saw.
You shouldn't be surprised.
I undid it all and I packed it correctly. And then
next time you're back, it'll be unpacked incorrectly again with negative tongue weight.
But it will have the right plug because I will fix the plug. So great. Still sitting in front of my house.
Yep.
Anyway, Chrissy, what you got going on?
We washed all the things. I power washed and washed. I washed all of our deck furniture because of getting all the grime from the winter off, because we just leave everything where it is all winter and then we need to clean it, which is nice because now that it's getting a little bit warmer, not today because it's crazy cold out, but we are getting ready to sit on the deck and have parties there. So then we power washed everything, including the front of our house on a big extension ladder. That was always exciting. And we fixed the garden. I watched the nephews on Monday. So yeah, not much car work. Cleaned up around here. Chris, you can go next because Mental has a mouthful of stuff.
Sure. Been doing more stuff in the Civic in addition to helping power wash, because once you power wash, you have to power wash everything. Like the whole front of the house is power wash. Like you just can't stop.
There's no way, like if you stop, there's a line of clean and unclean.
Well, it's so satisfying. Like stuff is clean and you're like, well, I can make that thing more clean. I can make that thing more clean. And you just keep making things more clean, and you do. And we
found
wonderful.
Stucco on our house that I didn't even realize we had. So we decided we need to clean some more.
And to that end, of everyone that gets sucked into the power washing loop, no one is more susceptible to this than Chrissy.
Why?
Just once you start power washing, it's just get out of the way. I think the last time I saw you doing it a couple of years ago, Chris had to stop you at the neighbor's sidewalk because you were halfway up the street.
You could do the neighbor's house, the neighbor's house, the neighbor's house.
Yep.
Good thing that the cat's not outside. Yeah.
I actually made a power washing error.
Oh.
I decided that it would be easier to power wash to edge my sidewalk because you could just blast the grass away, and it worked fine. But now I have all of these like funny white lines on the edges of my sidewalk. So
you got to use the straight nozzle for that. But then you're just going to be a muddy kitty when you're done. Like
you have to every time. I was filthy. I was just it was everywhere. Yep. Gross. Okay. But productive. Ta-da!
Yeah. So anyway, worked in the Civic more, got the front aero, basically the ducting in the front of the car all done for air into the radiator. So anything that goes in the big gaping maw on the front actually goes through the radiator, which is nice. Also made some plastic splash shields for the air intake so it doesn't ingest water, and under the under tray so that the air that comes through the radiator has a place to go. Got all those things, and it's very mundane, but it also works. Filled in the gaps between the flared fenders and the stock bumper, things like that. A lot of little bits, but I'm working my way front to back. I fixed the water leak at the heater hose. One of the heater hose had a drip, drip, drip kind of leak. So the problem is that the heater, where the brass bits come through the firewall, when you go to put pliers on the hose to take the hoses off, you bend that because it's really, really soft and malleable. So the key is to find a socket that's just about the right size and jam that in the hole, and it straightens it out nicely. So did that, cleaned it up, put it all back together. I think it's not leaking anymore. So that's nice. That's about it.
Yes.
Yep. Mental, what are you up to? Aside from stuff in your face.
So
I'm jealous because I haven't had dinner.
Right.
So
and it's dinner time for him. So allow him.
Our neighbors is not actually a house. It is it's a home business that takes care of invalid. I don't know what the politically correct phrase is. Nonverbal, mentally and physically challenged adults. Actually, most of them older. Some of them are mobile, but even the majority of them are in wheelchairs, but they keep it, it's very residential. They keep the landscape very nice. They're quiet. They're good neighbors. They just hired a new landscaping company who will not trim the trees that are on our property. So they were hanging down and scratching their high top van. So they very politely asked us if we would come and do it. So that's what Vicky and I worked on. We went over there and trimmed the tree high enough up so that they could, or pruned it back so that they could get their van in there. They left us a lovely thank you note. So it's the Chris and Vicky tree service, or Mental and Vicky tree service. And then I was also traveling this weekend, which means it's time to play everyone's second favorite E1R game. First one, of course, being bingo. The second one is guess the rental.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right.
Two questions each, and then make your choice.
Well, can you give us some background? That's not my question. Where you were traveling, what you traveled for CMP. This is where you just,
Correct.
I just need a little bit background of where you were.
So I
coming from.
flew into and out of Atlanta, which I know most people go into Charlotte, but it was a direct flight straight to Las Vegas. And, the 4 hours, I could either drive 4 hours or spend 6 hours in some tiny little regional airport trying to get down here. So it was in and out of Atlanta.
Which means
that doesn't count.
Good choices of
Good
cars.
choices. Yeah.
Okay. But it was not a car. You did not pick necessarily the car because Kim set the rental up for you.
Well, but Kim does a great job of
preferences.
preferences. And I will also give you this one, not let it count as one of yours. They did not honor that preference. And that's a whole funny story.
Okay.
Oh,
Spin
All
the
right.
wheel.
All right.
Okay. I'll start.
okay.
Did you like it?
No.
Okay.
And it was not an Altima. I'll throw that one out there.
Oh.
Country of manufacture.
US.
Okay.
Okay. Stellantis.
No.
I'm out of questions.
Sedan.
No.
American cars don't make. So it's Ford or GM. It's not a sedan, but they don't really make any. Okay. I'm going to say Ford.
Oh, don't we have another
EcoSport,
question?
'cause it's
Oh
the
yeah.
worst
still got a
in the world.
question.
Chris and Chrissy both got one more question.
Oh, sorry.
Ask body style.
No, he already said no. Fine,
Oh.
body style, whatever. It's gonna be SUV.
Coupe.
Oh, damn.
Mm.
Not Stellantis, coupe, American made. I mean, we're running out of choices here.
And you don't like it?
You got one more, Chrissy.
Oh, I have a question. I forgot.
Yes.
Oh, that's a coupe. Oh goodness. I don't even. I guess I'm trying to think of what's left and what it could be. And if it's a coupe, it's not an SUV. In theory.
Yeah, it's not a German car that calls their high up SUV a coupe.
Yeah.
All right, let's just keep going.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You don't
Okay.
have anything.
No, I don't.
I'm
Or
going
do
to
you
say it's got to, if there's only, how many coupes are there? It's a Mustang or a Camaro.
That's what I'm.
Like, I'm going to say Camaro. And it was a
Camaro.
4-cylinder Camaro.
Was
Big
it?
4-cylinder Camaro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I was going to guess Camaro too, because a 4-cylinder Mustang, I think, would be a better experience
Yes.
based on nothing.
And I've driven the EcoBoost Mustangs. They're not awful. It's just, yes, when you take the fire breathing V8 out of the Camaro, it's just everything that's bad about a Camaro and nothing that is good. It's like driving a tank. If you hold your hand up and set it on top of the steering wheel, you can completely block the visibility out of the front windshield. The rear view mirror is basically the size of a pair of sunglasses, and 30% of that is taken up with interior of car because the rear window is basically a gun slit. The windows are higher than my neck. It's so heavy. It undulates on freeways. The tires are awful.
You have
It was
porpoising?
noisy. Yeah. And it was noisy. I was actually impressed with the engine, but just
That's the 2.7 turbo 4, I think.
yeah,
right?
yeah. And it would get to speed very respectably, but just noisy and awful. And the transmission shifted like it was a CVT. Just Terrible,
Hmm.
pretty color, very pretty color. Just got
What'd you
on
get?
the car.
What color?
It was like a copper metallic.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm
can
checking this off as
I
mental
s-
gets something correct by saying this is a terrible car. So
Can I say that there's
Had-
something
had
about the
8
base
miles on it when I got it.
Oh, really?
No,
I'm sure you
8.
broke it in
Oh,
very
yeah.
gently.
There's something about the base Camaro, like they do something to it that it looks terrible.
The wheels are too small because it was
Yeah.
it was designed from the get-go to be, the monster Camaro. And so the wheels they put on it are too small. And
They
Yeah,
like
it's
they like
just-
get rid of all the logos on it, and they're like
Mhm.
they just like it just becomes a blob when there's nothing on it.
Yeah,
The taillights
absolutely.
don't look right, like nothing,
No.
like
could not fit a bag in the trunk. Had to put it in the back seat. Almost didn't fit in the back
No.
seat. Yeah, the trunk opening is like this. It's a huge trunk, but the opening to get in it, nothing there. Worse than a
Wow.
Mustang in
Trunk.
that aspect. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, this
Wow.
is good actual consumer advice. Thank you very much.
Do, 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 do. Okay, news and notes time. Okay, this week, I'm very excited about this. With a Women in Motorsports North America organization was launched. It is a community of professionals supporting opportunities for women across all disciplines of motorsport. This summer, Lynn St. James, who is the 7-time Indy 500 driver, reached out to a lovely woman, Beth Peretta, who is a former auto executive, and decided to create a foundation for women who want to work and grow careers in motorsports. This community is basically made up of women who currently are work or who are involved in motorsports, so that they can get other women involved. Really excited to have an influential people who are willing to raise up other women and that have a dream that they think might be unattainable. That's like having those women at the table and then calling your name. Excited to see what it brings.
That is awesome.
Check it off your bingo card too.
Lynn St. James. That's fantastic.
yeah, Lynn St. James is. That was the time when I was watching Indy.
Great.
So Aston Martin selected a new team principal for the F1 team when we haven't talked about it, Mike Crack. Now, Mike Crack worked with BMW early in his F1 career, and then Mike Crack worked with Sauber as the chief engineer. At BMW, Mike Crack
This
got
is so-
close.
Right.
Yeah, Mike Crack got close to a young Sebastian Vettel.
Oh, I'll say it did.
Ah,
Mike Crack
you have
My
2 more
crack left
paragraphs of this.
and worked in F3 and DTM before joining Porsche's WEC team. Mike Crack returned to BMW in 2014, rising to the head of race and test engineering, operations, and organization. Mike Crack reports directly to Lawrence Stroll and Group CEO Martin Whitmarsh. Mike Crack was quoting as saying, Aston Martin is one of the greatest automotive brands in the world, adding he plans to embrace this role with energy and enthusiasm. Mike Crack is also eager to renew its relationship with Sebastian Vettel. CEO Martin Wishmarch said, Mike Crack is exactly the kind of dynamic and modern team principal who will deliver F1 World Championship success that we at Aston Martin are so determined to achieve. We look forward to more news about Mike Crack. Adam Cooper at Autosport gives you all the details
I'm
about
not
Mike
looking
Crack.
forward to news about Mike Crack.
And despite pictures of Mike Crack, the link is safe for work.
Oh boy.
We were watching F1 this weekend and Chris was like, did I read that correctly? And I think we paused it so we could go back because we couldn't believe that we missed this story.
Oh
So,
boy.
yep. Oh boy.
Does everyone hear that whirling, spinning sound? That's the boomers rolling in the graves, even the ones that aren't dead yet, because the new Corvette, not this one, the next one, hybrid, potential hybrid. It's a hybrid.
Still
Listen,
the C8. It's still not. It's not the
It's still
C9
the C8.
even.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I should say that the C8 is getting a hybrid. On Brian Silvestro at Road and Track gives us the deets straight from the general. On Monday, CEO Mark Roos posted his personal LinkedIn page and would detail on his personal. Why did he do it on personal LinkedIn page? I don't know, but detailed all of Chevy's plans. He shared a video of the camouflage C8 with power going to all 4 wheels in the snow. The hybrid Corvette will likely retain a gas motor powering the rear wheels and an electric motor or motors probably spinning the front wheels. They are hinting at a full electric option a few years after. You might call it the E-Ray, which would be cool. GM also posted a tweet of the hybrid vet testing on a frozen lake. Getting those jorts all bunched up, are ya? Calm down. Roos said Chevy plans to sell internal combustion Corvettes alongside the electric versions, but we'd expect the hybrid vet to make a combined horsepower above the Z06's current 670 horsepower rating. We will link both the Twitter and the Road and Track article. The pictures don't look like much. The video is kind of cool.
Corvette magazine.
Corvette magazine. I'm all for it. We have said before that we are fans of electric hybrid sports cars. Sign me up.
I would say we're fans of the Corvette. We're just not fans of the type of people that often
We're fans of the Corvette.
Yeah.
I think we're fans from afar because we think they're funny.
I think the C8 is great.
And we're several Corvette owners among this group.
Yes, we are.
Oh boy.
All right. We love building, breaking, and racing some of our creative solutions and creations on track, but sometimes just want a toy that works. And when you do, a great place that you could go to get that next street legal track special is Racing Junk, the official classified of E1R Racers. For example, this 420 horse supercharged Mustang GT stroker engine has all forged internals, trick Edelbrock heads, a GT40 intake with all the other expensive go fast bits. It is backed by a I totally wrote this, right? Tremec 5-speed and riding a saline road race suspension, bare 13-inch brakes, caster camber plates, a strut trailer base, 18-inch saline wheels, a drivetrain and engine have 20,000 miles. In addition to AC, has factory Recaros. It is up on our screen if you are watching on YouTube.
And which one is this? Is the SN95?
SN95.
SN95.
I just can't get over how terrible the interior is on those things.
Yeah, it looks
let's
like
go back to the interior picture.
Looks like a really old. Yeah, put some covers over that.
Well, no, those are the factory Recaros. Those are
they're just terrible.
Yeah,
they look ugly.
Not nice.
Yeah,
but I will say that this one is probably clean as you're going to ever find.
Quite.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought the SN95 was that bad. So, I don't know. No, I mean, terrible car. I thought it looked cool.
That's a lot of car for the 13 that they're asking.
That is absolutely. All right.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
It's always free to browse on Racing Junk, and it's also free to post. You only get one picture though, so you might want to join. You can also just sign up for the newsletter because it's awesome, and we're in it sometimes.
Yeah.
RacingJunk.com. Don't sleep on it.
Like you needed to remember that you're supposed to listen to us.
Ready, Chrissy?
Yeah. Yes.
We're letting you yell.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I already scrolled down. Upcoming races.
Thank you. Champ Cars breaking in the new Ozarks racetrack. 58 cars, 20 boring BMWs, 11 Miatas, 1 Honda, 3 Porsches, and a 1978 Chrysler LeBaron. Wonderful.
What?
Along with some friends from ours from Dead Pedal Racing, well, friends of Mentals at Dead Pedal Racing, that he likes to pimp at every possible opportunity to say when they're racing. So that's great.
That's fantastic.
Let's see how that new track goes.
Eric was on the show. If we go back to like one of our first coverages of Champ Car, we're like, they're racing a Maserati. We love these guys.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding.
Where is the Ozarks racetrack? I know we covered it, but I don't remember.
Missouri?
Yeah, 2 hours outside of Kansas City.
Oh, very nice. Square States. Got it. Lucky Dog is doing the Desert Dash and Cinco de Mayo celebration at the Big Willow. Love the Big Willow. Never been there, but it's on my list. 50 cars, 18 BMWs.
It's okay.
It's boring. A
Yeah,
little.
it's still
The ratio is a little bad, but
Yeah, 11 Miatas, 3 Hondas, 2 Porsches, and the pink Panzer's AMG E55, which I'm sure Mental is very excited about.
Yep. Okay.
Racing results.
Thank
Can't
you.
yell at 'em at work, Chrissy. So
No.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Like,
Lemons.
if my office was
that's-
empty, I would yell.
I
But they're
think you
literally
should.
all working tonight. So
I think they should be
Yeah.
right there.
I mean, it's not like it'll surprise them if you're yelling.
No.
By your nickname's the Hurricane. All right. Lemons at CMP was there for the famous return of the block party. You know,
Oh my gosh, it looked
Darren-
so fun.
it did.
It
And
really was. It was
gotta
awesome.
say, great job for Darren. You know, Big Sexy is on a roll. He
he's
is
on
now-
fire.
He
Oh
is.
my goodness.
And he's been running clean. This has been good. You know, clean and fast. He just took 2 teams from perennial bridesmaid status to winners. Not only did Tally get the win, Squirt and Coronas finally took an A and an overall in the SLK. Great job, guys. Wonderful. Class B, kind of blue on a focus. And God's chosen class was Lemo Oktoberfest in a Saturn coupe.
Nice.
Nothing says racing like a Saturn coupe.
Yes.
Surprising.
He has won, that SLK has won races before, but not a Lemons race.
Yeah, Lucky Dog, they've done
Because
okay with
one
it.
Lucky Dogs, right? Okay. Org choice was Red Ace Racing in their Mitsubishi Lancer with a
Nice.
band made theme, which was kind of cool. Judges was the all youth, very polite crew from Pecker Power in an automatic Prelude.
Wow.
IOE was the hella sweet Van Halen Eagle Summit van from quote, I'll be fine was the team name. Rocking it out.
Heroic Fix went to Mock Grass Racing in their Kia for a 25-minute engine drop that
That's awesome.
had them back on track the same day. It made cylinder 4 into a molten nugget. Screwed was Herbie the Love Bunny, who bribed to -5 laps with a donation to the Camden Humane.
I think it's humane.
I think it's
Sorry,
humane
yeah,
too,
my bad.
but that's
Autocorrect.
That's a typo. That's not
And
Chrissy's
you
fault.
autocorrect.
It could be the Human Society.
It's
One or
George
the other.
Costanza. It's the human
The human
fund.
fund.
It
Money
might
for
be-
People
people.
helping people.
it was one or the other. We gave some money to some society, but it only made 3 laps before the GTI motor seized.
So they bribed down to -5 and then they made 3. So they ended their race at -2, or did they get back on track?
No, that was it. They
Oh.
green flag, and I think the 3rd lap was on the back or was being pulled in. So yeah, even
Oh.
the cars that never started finished ahead of them.
Oh,
Oh, poor bunny.
yeah.
Hmm. That's a
that's-
shame.
Do you want to keep going?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So the Road Mangler Cup and the associated set of Yokohama tires went to the Winded Warriors in that awesome Dodge Dakota. And finally, the eBay Halloween Meets Gasoline, the new top prize in Lemons, went to Snug Nuts in a boring BMW, but they had a great theme, stayed in costume all weekend, even while looking for parts Saturday night. They did the BMW up like a fishing bobber, had a giant rod attached to the top of it, and
Love
they all
that.
walked around in life jackets with fishing poles, and they literally went fishing for engine mounts Saturday night.
Okay.
Excellent.
I'll jump in real quick here and mention that on the internet, it's been seen all over the place, but there was an incident that ended up going very close to a flag station. Everybody's alive and fine. Maybe a little bit of jumping out of the way happened from the flaggers. And we just wanted to mention that, hey, keep it careful out there. The flaggers are our best friends. All right. We love the flaggers. Please keep them safe.
Yep.
Got it. All right. Lucky Dog was at the Ridge, one of our favorite places Saturday, had finally racing 20 seconds over U-Boot Renner Works. Third was a lap back that was Evolution of Speed. Sunday finally racing fell to third, a mere 10 seconds behind second place. Evolution of Speed winner by a lap was Team B.
We got a big update from Jeff Stobbs, the rally master for the Lemons Rocky Mountain Breakdown, which started at the AMC Museum and of the Rambler Ranch.
Winner on points was the 53 MG we discussed from Monkey Business. This was not a museum piece. This was a proper patinaed machine. They did things properly. They drank beer with sticks and mud in it that was warm, and they kept the top down the whole rally, including in the
Oh.
freezing temps and
I
snow.
Can't
Yeah.
even.
Yes.
I don't think the top has ever been up on my father's MGTD. So
The heaters work really, really
Oh.
well in old MGs too.
And the tops are useless.
Yeah,
I
no,
drove the MG last to the garage.
it's like a tent. It's not
Right.
really
What do you
like
call it? A rector
The
set.
rector set.
Yeah.
You know, and from the 50s right up until the 70s, those tops got no better at all. They're suggestions of cover.
They are.
At least MGBs had windows that rolled up so that they kind of sort of held into the top, where all the other ones, curtains, they just
curtains. Yep.
nothing.
It's very
and
loud.
they have a single hole that the curtain sits in, so that they flap out like this.
Yeah.
So
time.
they're useless.
I used to have these little clips I'd put on mine to hold it shut when I was driving.
Like chip clips.
What kind of, it was like a piece on the side curtain, but you had to like hold it a certain way to shut the door so that the curtain would clip around the windshield in a certain way. Yeah.
Kind of had to overlap correctly.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Back to the rally. The second was Safety Third Racing and their 65 El Camino. Their clutch spring failed, so they did the whole rally with a bungee cord. What?
Nice.
Then they also helped teams during the whole event.
Third was Fabbrica Italia Automobili Turrebile in an 80 Fiat Spider. He drove the entire rally, 1,500 plus miles solo, no heater, no defroster. As Jeff said, quote, the car smelled like burning fluids for the entire rally, but somehow he was able to get it to the finish line.
These people are crazy.
Uh-huh. Judge's choice, crikey, it's the Lemons Award, was the Triple A Holes Racing in a 99 Ford Contour, 3 dudes with a Roser theme.
Love the Roser themes. Org choice was the Takeo Takaru Racing. Sure. 1992, excuse me, Suzuki every all-wheel drive auto. It's a K van. Okay. It's a K van, whatever it was. It had tentacles all over it, and they claimed it was something about octopus for lunch. They tried to make sushi jokes, but everybody pretty much knew it was tentacle porn, right? Right. This is what we all know. Okay. Don't get near the guys with the tentacle porn on their van, but these guys were cool. They, according to Jeff, the guy also never lifted during the rally. It seems I would see him hit potholes while driving on one side. The other side of the car would be on air, like in the air. So, hey, kind of like a Ferrari Formula One car, just every bump jumped in the air.
The random acts of stupid, the top award in Lemon's rally went to Tom Stratt and Stott and his family, including his mother, in a 2003 Bluebird school bus. Jeff said one of the bus's favorite activities was off-roading while his mother was asleep in the very back of the bus. They stayed on theme and in the entire rally as a prison bus, so everyone was dressed like prisoners in striped suits.
Nice. Other highlights included Team Silver Ghosts in a crusty Crown Vic, 3 generations of family in one car, as well as Mark Ginger and their 200-pound dog Leo in a 79 Subaru GL. That is not a big car, trust me. Jeff also wanted to give a shout out to Jan, Tom, and Brett and Amanda for saving the rally by taking photos on day 3 while Jeff was stricken with food poisoning. Oh no, don't eat at that taco stand. Tons of great pictures on the Instagram. Just search #LemonsRally to enjoy all of the mayhem.
It was great. All the pictures were great. Check out the cars because they're really something else. Listener feedback. Hold on to something. We have 2. Count them 2 new iTunes reviews. Here is one. AJN Rock. Love the show. Love the content most of the time. Always a good show in the background while working on the car. Sometimes you even learn things about cars and life. There's one host who I'm sure is a wonderful person who, without knowing it, sometimes gets a bit exclusive of others in his attempt. So it's not me. Yes. In his attempt to be most inclusive person on the planet Earth, who reminds me of the one person we all endure at Thanksgiving dinner because we love them anyway. Love what E1R does. 3 p.m. is a team to pattern your Lemons team around. Thank you so much.
My favorite about that review is it's called 5 stars and tell you why. So he's listening. That's fantastic.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you. A South Minneapolis fan called us informative and entertaining, adding, I am no racer, but still find the topics informative to someone who only spectates. Even the butchering of team names is entertaining, although perplexing. Plus, Chrissy screaming into the mic is part of your brand. Don't stop.
We don't plan to stop.
No.
I definitely don't plan on stopping butchering the team names, Scrappy, Yard, Fuji's, wherever you are. Feedback on our last episode about spares on YouTube, where Call to Grid, that's a good name, mentioned Road America.
He was the guy we met at PRI. Has a website.
As we were
called
walking
To
in.
Grid. Yeah.
Very good. Got it.
Sells racer equipment and has some how-to videos on, just how to get started on track. Good channel.
Very good.
Yep.
So he mentioned that Road America definitely requires spare brake pads and rotors, but added some other items like racing tape, camber bolts, O-ring kit, various sizes, because you never know where you're going to need an O-ring, especially if you ate Mexican from wherever Jeff Stobbs ate Mexican.
And then you need a cork.
You're definitely going to need an O-ring because you might blow it out.
So Michael K commented that GM supercharger oil is actually pretty common and carried at most local auto parts stores.
Well, not the one I went to.
Mhm.
Tim Burr said, buy a parts car from Salvage. It has all the things you need, your car will ever need.
Yeah. On the Facebook, 11%er said, as a team with an obscure car with lots of no longer available parts, gas, oil, careful drivers, wire, brake pads, alternator, distributor rebuild parts, and rear control arms if we can fit them.
We understand that.
Yeah, rear control arms, definitely.
Mhm. On the Facebook, 2 more good spare to bring that we missed. DJ 914 said, I suggest to bring more work or dirty clothes than you might think, as I've seen a lot of people ruin clothes that they didn't bring stuff that they could get really dirty. It's a good one.
Cam L pointed out, hey, wheel studs are consumables. Replace them often, and you should bring extras as recommended. Luckily, I had one stubborn one that refused to let go when the rest decided to go MIA in the middle of a corner at ECR. I used my 2 spares so I could get the car on the trailer to go home. Hey, Cam, thanks for not sending it after you put only 2 spares on there and saying, good enough.
We don't carry studs, do we? We carry
we do.
hubs with studs in them, but we don't have loose studs, do we?
We do.
We do? Oh, okay.
I have a little bag of them.
Actually, I
box.
have them too for the Z.
Duh.
If the Z ever makes it back on track, because I replaced them and put the old ones in. So I guess we do.
Yep.
Outside the episode, we also heard from our devoted listeners on other matters, like 100% listener Jen, who messaged us to say CNC car wash and gave it 5 stars on Yelp.
Don't tell
Then people will come.
Don't tell people.
Did you wash your sister's car?
No, we washed my car.
Oh,
I think last week you were talking about doing that. So
You did it for Mother's Day.
Oh,
You
yes,
washed her car
Yes, I
really
did.
well.
Yes.
And,
That's another thing I can't stop. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I can't stop detailing.
Yeah. Once you start cleaning, just get out of the way. She's going to clean everything. Yeah.
I know.
Now, some real world feedback. Monday, we former guests Tyler Hoffman and Trevor Andrusco, who are WRL, IMSA, Super Trofeo drivers and coaches. They were in town, so we had dinner, and they both said since their appearance on this podcast, they have been on dozens of podcasts, and this one is by far the most fun.
Oh, were they in Vegas or were you in Atlanta?
They were in Vegas on their way to the IMSA race at Laguna.
Got it, because I know you were flying through Atlanta, so I didn't know if you had seen them there. Sim racing.
Cool. Yeah. I decided we were going to go old school. We did Formula V's at Summit Point and Lime Rock, just like you did in the early 70s, except we didn't have mustaches and weren't smoking while driving. So
Maybe some people were.
I suppose, give the Formula V's a try. They're a little go-kart riot where momentum is key. You can take the last few corners at Summit Point without lifting, like including going onto the main straight. You just hang on. You'll get it if you get the line right. So that's fun. As you top out at 98 miles an hour, that's all it's got. Tyler won the first race. I have no idea about the second because I wasn't there, but I thought those were fun.
Hey, you know who else wasn't at the second race?
It's true.
Chrissy's mom. Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Hi.
You know
And
who
that-
else can take the final complex of turns and never lift?
There you go.
Probably true. That's funny. Main topic time.
All right. Let me do an intro real quick here because
Please do.
I
Please.
think Chris actually came up with this idea in our discussion, but I like to wax about poetically about being in the zone and the flow state and all those other things. And we just decided that we really were going to talk about that one moment on track when the clarity happened and we got out there and we just really felt like we were unstoppable, unbeatable, doing our best, and just really the Zen showed up. So tonight we're going to talk about some of the best time we ever had racing, and we're going to talk about our greatest moments in the track. And I guarantee probably most of us aren't going to talk about the fastest they ever were, but the most Zen they ever were. So who wants to start?
I'll throw it out there because it's exactly what you said. Wasn't even the fastest car I've ever driven. And I wasn't even in a race. It was just an instructor session. And I talked about it right after it happened, but I got to drive the E30 M3, wrote about it for Hooniverse. And I've been in the flow or the zone. And if you're not entirely sure what we're talking about, there's a very famous interview with Art and Senna where he talks about how he was driving the car subconsciously. He wasn't even thinking about his inputs. It was just happening as he realized it was happening. Ross Bentley talks about the zone, the flow, and getting there. And I just found myself in this place. I wasn't trying to race. I was just dancing with the car, and time. I was unaware of the passage of time till they threw the checker. It was just this great and wonderful place where I was just driving. It's the deepest I've ever gotten into the zone.
And I believe you said the car had a lot to do with it, because you said that the E30 M3 was way beyond your expectations, right?
Yes. And this particular one had really been done proper. After I wrote the article, I actually got the entire background on it, and it had been converted into a race car. And several people that run with with that team had a hand in the car, and it was just built right. And the only time I had all the traction was going on the straightaway. In the corners, it was sliding, but it was so predictable and catchable, and you just kind of pointed it where you wanted it and then let it hook, and you would just slide, hook, slide and hook. And you would glance at the apex, the car would head that way, and then it would just power its way through the acceleration part of the corner. It was just the
I think we got a little
time.
freeze.
Yep. Little gigablast.
Right.
Oh, well.
Let me throw this out here because Mental might come back. But Chris, you've owned an E30 for a very long time. I owned a terrible E30 for quite a while. Chrissy, you've spent some time in the seat of an E30 at some point, I assume.
She drove ours like twice. It wasn't much.
You never drove Bonnadu, but I think that an E30, we make fun of BMWs on this show all the time, but an E30 is a fantastically analog, like you're going to vibe with that car if you love cars.
Yeah, it's a great car. And that's why I had mine from 120,000 miles to like 220. I had it forever and did all kinds of things with it, and I had a great time. It was great, and it did have one that is in good nick, like with all the bushings done and a good set of suspension on it. It really does let you play with it at the limit, because it's not shy about oversteering, but you can catch it, tuck it back in, and control it at any point. But so many of the ones people have driven are all sloppy and ragged out, and then
Mine was sloppy.
It doesn't give you the same kind of feel like that Metal's talking about, and like the one that I had at its best. So
yeah,
there's other things that go wrong with it. There's other things that are annoying about them, but when they're in their zone, they're doing things right.
Yeah.
Mental's back. Does he have any? Do you want to?
He's got chips.
It does have chips. You're good.
We were just talking about how
right
the
into
E30,
nachos.
the E30 might be one of the most just perfectly analog feel it in your butt kind of cars on a racetrack. There's a reason they get raced so often.
Yeah, and that M3 is more so, if
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And we make fun of BMWs just because they're the easy button and there are too many of them. Not that they're bad. Like
No, that's the
No,
problem.
some of them
They're
are
too good.
awesome.
we've all
They're
owned
great.
them and like them. It's
God
just
damn it, they're hard to beat sometimes.
right. Just come on, do
We've all owned several of them.
yeah, right. Exactly. All right. That it, Mental? You want anything else you want to bring up, or is you good? That cool.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
All right, I've got a couple I was thinking of. Class C wins. Last week we talked about or a couple of weeks ago we talked about this Class C win of the boat with a failing coil. Is every lap I get less RPM and we're staying with the coil. So that was okay. But the one that was really got in the zone for driving was when Spank and I Ironman the 1970 or 69 Austin America to 11th overall in a Class C win at the Ridge in Seattle, or outside Seattle. And so we're taking long stints. It's a big cell. It's a 1275 engine. And we're out there and the track just flows. It's great. There's not a whole, it's beautiful. There's not a whole lot of traffic. Like there's enough traffic, but you're not constantly battling traffic. So you have time to actually work on getting the most out of the car and being able to push it. And I really, having so many hours, because it really was just two of us Ironmanning it back and forth for a whole weekend that kept going. I got to figure out things like my braking point coming into the downhill was a flower on the side of the road.
Was this your first time ever at that track?
Yes.
First and only.
Yep.
Yeah, we've never been back.
So as we're out there and the car's staying alive, it's staying together, we are running it hard, but with enough sympathy as befits that car. And, it was a fresher motor, so that helps. But just all weekend, really getting into the flow with that car, getting it to go so well, and just watching it climb up the standings, like saying, like, there's no way, like it's in Austin, America. How are we possibly doing this? And then at the end of the day on Sunday, I'm doing the math. Everyone that's won a class has done this, and you're doing the math in your head. If I'm this many laps ahead and the laps are this many seconds, how many minutes ahead do I need to be? And what time is it now? When do I have it locked up? When do I have it locked up? And then finally, can you get to that point and you just get a sigh of relief, and then you just have a little fun for your last few laps out there if you can, assuming you have that much. I think we had a few minutes, but it was just enough that it was a great feeling all around with that car, that race.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to tell a story and you come back to another one? Or you want to tell a second one?
I'll go through a couple.
Okay.
And I'll do another class win story. This is a battle, really a back and forth battle. This is when Civic 1B at New Jersey, when it was single cam, like old Hero motor. That motor had 25,000 race miles on it. Big fuel cell. We stopped once a day. That was it. So you're running 3.5 hours minimum. So the end of the day, Sunday, it's between me and a gold Cavalier. I forget the team name. I think it was Spy versus Spy. I think it was their team name back then. Anyway, we are going back and forth. He gets ahead. I get ahead. He's got more speed than I do. He's a little braver than I am, especially at the end of a day when we're in the top 10. And so, but this went on for a good half hour, and eventually he got ahead of me, and he was taking chances I wasn't willing to take. So I just glued myself to his bumper for a good 15 or 20 minutes, just right there. And eventually I got in his head and he went off, and that was it. And the next 20 minutes were just, I needed to get, I actually was behind him by a lap or two. And I knew that was the only way I was going to get it, was doing that. So just by doing clean driving, staying with him, not taking a chance, letting him make the mistake, that was pretty fun. Yes, Mental.
That I stand by. That was my best moment of the track, but your story brings me to mind of when we had the overall, and it wasn't the overall, but it was that start on Sunday morning.
Yeah,
and we were
I was hoping you were going
laps,
to bring this one up. This is a good one for you.
We were 2 laps out, and just It actually started with your demeanor because you were just so chill about the whole thing. You're like, just dude, go out there. I put you in the car because I believe in you. Drive. And even though we were in contention, I genuinely felt no pressure to, there was no fear. And we went out there, and this story's been told, but the cockiest thing I ever got to say on the radio was calling Chris about just as you came through that last corner at Thompson, you crest the hill, and I called Chris and I said, "Hey, Chris, do you remember that one time in a one stint when I lapped the leader twice so we could take first place just as I passed under the start finish line and moved us into first place?" And of course, Chris, with the great calmness that he actually always has at the racetrack, went, "Yeah, that was pretty cool."
Yep.
Oh boy.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I got one more.
Okay.
Unless you get more on that subject.
No, I was going to use that to transfer to my topic, but go ahead, because I'm going to change the topic.
All right, I'll finish this up. So this is a time where after we'd won B and we built the car up a little bit and we said, oh, this is going to be tough. We got to win an A, or not win an A, but we got at least compete in A. I mean, we didn't have hopes of winning at that point. We wanted to see if we could possibly be competitive in A. And for all the years we've been doing this is probably 5 years ago now, especially when your first couple of years, you're doing the best you can. You really feel like you're doing well. And then 2 of the top 5 cars come just tearing through the field. And you go, what the hell? Like,
I'm not even close to going fast.
Like, I am trying the best I can. This is all I got. And look, like, how is that even possible that they are going so much faster than everybody? Like, how is that possible? So cut to Thompson, end of the day, Saturday, one time. This is when the Civic was turboed. We're getting it sorted. And we got like 20 minutes left in the day. And I'm kind of taking it a little easy. Just like, whatever, it's fine. The car's running well. And then Pantsless Matt comes up with a Firebird.
It's Firebird.
Yeah. And I say, let's see what we can do. So for the next 20 minutes, Matt and I were those 2 guys tearing through the field, blowing everyone away. And because we both know and trust each other, we were racing so close, like inches away as we're going through things. I definitely remember being able to pass the Firebird on the straight with the Civic because I got a great run out of it and a little bit of a draft. And of course, I had to throw the horns out the window as soon as I passed it because it's that, right? There you go. So I guess that gave me that it was just a wonderful feeling racing with someone who you can trust to race hard and clean really quickly. And it also told me, like, all right, we've got what it takes to be an A and to do well. And that was fun, just to no longer say, how the hell are those guys going so fast, but to be the ones going that fast.
Yeah, I'll say that I never, and this could be because I think I did a lot of driver training in the time, but the turbocharged Civic, because of the fuel cut issue that would come up when the boost spiked and that, I don't think I ever got as comfortable in the turbo Civic as I did in the K-swap Civic. I mean, it was the same car, same chassis, but like, I think I just, let me just back up for a moment and get to telling my story. But I don't think the times when we were trying to win, I ever relaxed enough to truly enjoy what I was doing.
It's also because by the time we did the K-swap, the chassis was starting to wear out and the car wasn't.
It was hard. Yeah.
The
it was
best
a lot
the car
harder.
ever was when it was turboed, because the chassis was still together. It was still the friendly, lovable chassis that we all loved for so long. It was just so easy to drive, except it had torque and it was quick and it handled beautifully and it was easy to drive fast.
Yeah.
And
when we were working for B though, I think that was probably because we were doing those long stints. And I so totally remember, like, I was just working on the pacing the most then, because
Yeah.
we knew we had to go that long. So I think I was able to probably better flow state a little then, because I knew I had to do 3.5 to 3:45 to almost 4 sometimes. So I think that had me in a different mindset. And this is going to get me to my story, because I think my fastest flow state, not fastest, but the times that I get into flow state the most, and I really just feel different than all the people around me, is in the rain. And I love racing in the rain. I've said that 1,000 times. I think I'm my Superman feeling is in the rain. So my first win on laps was in the Triumph in the slightly wet at New Hampshire. We had the wrong tires. They would grease.
That was
And
a
you
Class
had
C
to,
win you guys got, right?
yeah,
With
the Class C win.
Yeah.
And we had to like not go full out. And I think that was like, I really just understood that the full out, and I could just really feel those tires getting greasy. So I was able to kind of like just pull back that little bit. And, when it's rain, everybody complains about the lock diff, but I love a lock diff. And that Triumph had it, and our boat had it. And I think we had it in the Ombre for some time. I can't remember if it was in at this race. So I'm going to ask Chris if he remembers.
I don't
But
remember that race, which one we had. If it was
totally wet New Jersey Motorsports, where we had to like drive through the river.
That was
I
the
think we still had,
Ombre.
yeah,
It was
It
Ombre.
was the
It
Ombre.
was Ombre. Absolutely, it was Ombre.
and I think we had the Torsen out of the Camaro.
Okay.
Instead of
we
the lock diff.
We might have had the Torsen on that one, but that is the stint that I'm going to say, like, that's my greatest time on the track. And again, not the fastest, not the, I had trouble when it got dry, but when it was wet, I just really felt great in that. It was cold. There was a flooded part of the track between turn 3 and 4. We had to like plunge into a river, and it would just like make this tidal wave.
Tidal wave at Hershey Park. That's exactly what it was like.
It was like, and it would come, in the window and just absolutely soak you. And it was just freezing cold. And I loved every second of that stint.
Seriously.
Yeah, I love
that.
I have a video of a person, one of the Saab teams posted it, and it is on my like YouTube playlist, and I watch that all the time. They have a camera mounted in their front bumper, and I'm like, there's the Ombre, look at me go. But like, I don't know what it was about that dang Ombre, but
funny.
When it would just, it was rear wheel drive. It did not have the perfect suspension. It had a straight axle. It's leaf springs in the back. I could just make that sucker dance. It was so consistent. Like, had a lot of tire in the rack. I would go through that water and it would explode, and all the other cars would be like, I'm getting splat. They would like, I just totally could just not bully people, but just slice and dice that traffic, because everybody was slow. And everybody was like, it's really raining, and I'm going to have to be really careful. And I was just like, bam, 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 slicing them. And the Ombre was not fast. The Cressida was way faster at that point. They were top 10ing all the time. And the Cressida followed me for like 8-10 laps. And they came up behind me, and I let them by me. And then I passed them. And I let them by me because the Cressida should be fast. And then then I think it was Dave, because we were on the radio, and he was like, I don't know how you're getting through all this traffic. I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to stay here on your bumper. And I love Thunderbolt at NJMP. I love the rain. I think that was the worst conditions other than the snow at Road Atlanta that I've ever been in. And I know that's not the greatest track, but it was my home track. It is my home track. Like, I love that place. I love that stint. And then as soon as it got dry, I sucked. So I loved the soaking wet in that damn pickup truck.
Wow.
Excellent.
Okay.
You know, it was really great in the rain. The boat.
Did you say that just to get it off your bingo card?
No, just because.
Oh, that was from the Lemons video.
No,
I know.
it's always appropriate to say that when you talk about racing in the rain.
I mean,
well,
sure.
And that race was the same race that we won C in the Triumph.
Yeah, in the rain in the boat. Yep.
In the rain in the boat, the rain in the boat, and the rain in the Triumph.
Yeah, it was the boat and the Triumph came in 17th and 20th overall, which
was amazing.
That was the
ridiculous.
second IOE, right? I think.
Yeah, because it was
Yeah.
combined IOEs for how on earth did you get a Triumph and a boat?
And that was the
17th and 20th.
Carbureted 231 odd fire Buick with
Yeah.
the
that they bought from some guy in Craigslist to put it in, and the damn thing was a champ. It drove that car to the Class C win. They had it for a while longer, and then eventually sold it to Duff Beer, who put it in the Stag, and that thing went to a Class C win. So that is that motor has
Hero.
provenance and just keeps running.
they had that stupid transmission in there that had first down.
It had a dog leg.
Yeah.
It's a Borg Warner T50 from a 76 Buick Skyhawk.
That was
Like,
terrible
talk about a
transmission.
weird
Because
thing.
that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
That's what came with the car when Bruce bought it. He's not going to replace it until it blows up. It's
Hey,
Bruce.
A dogleg transmission is actually really good for racing because that way you're just going up and down for second and third, but usually they're made of blown glass in every application.
Yep.
Well, this
Nice
one
one.
survived behind the carbureted 231 or 236, whatever the hell that odd fire thing is.
Yeah.
Oh, how far we've come.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still like that Triumph. Chrissy, go ahead. I know you got a story.
My stories aren't nearly as good as you guys. And I've known about this topic for a long time because Chris and I have been talking about it. And I have struggled with some things here. I think there are a few times at Thompson that I was in the zone. I think they're about the most times that I've been in the zone. And I think there's a total massive amount of pressure if for anything I put on myself, because I had always been starting because we figured that was going to be the best way for our team. So I don't sleep the week before. I'm having nightmares. I get to the track. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything has to go perfect. But I am very good, and what motivates me and what makes me excited is dicing through traffic. And there is not any more traffic than there is when in the start of Saturday.
Nope.
And I enjoy trying to, especially with a car that's capable, to dice through traffic. So that's those couple of times when the car was its fastest, when it was going really well, when it was trustworthy. There was definitely one of the races, not too distant past, when it was not trustworthy, when you would fly down the front straight and when you braked, it would not brake straight. And that was additionally concerning. So, but when it was at its prime and when everything was good about the chassis, there were a couple times where I was in the zone. I really enjoyed my stints. And of course it was just, crazy hot, and it's a lot of pressure. And usually I did, as long as the car would last, which is, 3.5 plus. So, but that was probably the times that I enjoyed the most. The other time was at Barber in the BMW. I had a great time. I think I, for some reason, took an afternoon shift, but I'm pretty sure that was the time when,
because we didn't care. It was
It's
casual racing, with friends.
casual
We're
racing
like,
between
whatever.
friends, right?
we
Yeah.
did, but that was I think that was the time when I was in first for a while.
I think second. Yeah.
I
Well,
think second.
we
I
were
think it
eating
must
bread
have.
heels in Greece
I-
and having a great time. We laughed.
That
so much,
was
though.
an epic. That was an epic weekend. I know I am the queen of giving pep talks, but I definitely got a pep talk from Mental that weekend. So maybe I put my big girl panties on the next day and figured out how to be more positive and get out there and go. And I'm pretty sure that was a time where I told Jeff to take a picture, because I think so Barber has a tower that tells you the top scores, and they don't rotate, unlike New Hampshire rotates and tells you all of them, and you kind of have to keep track of for that. That one just has the scores up there, and whoever's in first
It
is
has like
on
the
this
top
tower.
10 and it's
Top- yeah.
stagnant. Yeah.
It just stays there. Yeah, that's absolutely what I was getting at. And I'm pretty sure I was in second, and then at some point, I guess, second person pitted, and I was in first, and I don't think anybody wanted to tell me, but I'm pretty sure I either noticed or somebody did tell me, and I was like, it's pretty crazy up there. And so some of that with the pressure off, and a wonderful car that is the BMW, Hamza's BMW, that I think maybe it was just because it was such a chill weekend. Chill, it was freaking cold. Oh, it was so cold. But it was chill, and that was really fun, and we had a great time. Low pressure, and it was very cold. But yeah, those were the couple that came to mind of great times on track, and really feeling like things were going well, and I was pulling my weight. Yes.
Say that was a great weekend because the four of us were in 3 different cars. And it actually became the picture that was our first thumbnail. And it was just really intriguing because that was the first time, you want to go hear that story, go listen to the Super Bowl and why we all missed the Super Bowl. That's on one of our previous podcasts. But it was really great for all of us not to be in our cars. And I think we all were some sort of arrive and drive, and it just took some of the pressure off of us. I don't think any of us turned a wrench at all, except for maybe a little bit on the BMW, right?
Maintenance.
You didn't race at all that week. Minimal. Mental
wrench. Mental, you wrenched on that weekend?
You wrench. Remember putting in the organic wooden brake pads in the Volvo because that's all you had. And
you
did
a lot.
You did a lot. You were basically the manager for that team. And then the Thunderbird, we had to pull the engine out twice because we found out later the engine mounts were going and it was slamming the oil pan into the front cross member and cracking it.
You didn't race.
I didn't remember that. I remembered, setting up the Volvo, but it wasn't like we broke something, we need to fix it. It was like, why the hell do you have all the wrong tires on? Get those tires, put those tires,
Yeah, mental. I don't think you didn't race that much that weekend, but that's okay. That's what we went for.
It was so, but you're all right. It was still a great time.
Yeah, I think that that we don't want to preview this, but eventually we will have another show probably of our favorite non-track times at the track. I think that's probably a fine other show. So I was trying to come back to favorite battles with other cars. I know that I've had them. I can't remember off the top of my head which cars. I know that actually recently, I'm pretty sure it was New Hampshire, that I had some back and forth with the Cressida, and we were having a good time, or at least they were hanging out beside me. But I do remember, which is sad, like I remember getting out of the car and saying, "Oh, that car, we had such a great time." And when they come over, and like just that feeling, and I feel badly that I can't remember which cars it was, and what at the time, who was around or who the driver was, but that feeling of getting out when you're having a good time and both of you come together and you say, "Oh, that was awesome. That was great. You had some great passes there." Just that feeling in that conversation is fantastic. So I know it's kind of a nebulous, not really anything to go with it, but it's such a great feeling.
Yeah. Mental, I know you have the segue. Can I ask some general questions for the crew, or you want? Cool. Round the horn, not really round the horn like it's the final segment, but everyone, what's the formula? Like, don't talk about a specific stint or car, but what's the formula for finding that happy place? Like, because Chrissy mentioned that she loves Thompson and Thompson is her happy place. And I mentioned that it was NJMP. Like, is it a certain track? Is it the car? Like, what do you think is it?
That actually is my segue. So when everyone's done, we'll go right into that.
Well, comfort level seems to be a part of it. You have to be comfortable enough with the general situation to let go and move past that, to transcend the basics into the rest of it. Like, and whether it's comfortable with the track and comfortable with the car, comfortable with the conditions. I think that's a common theme I've heard, especially from you two. I wasn't listening as much to myself, but because I was at 3 different tracks and the things I was talking about too, but still all of those times I was comfortable enough with what I was doing in the car I was driving to seek out that extra bit. I think you guys were too.
Interesting concept.
I like that. Yeah, because I don't think a track that I have not, a track that still challenges me, I don't think I could ever be 100% comfortable in. Like, I know that there is a turn on that track that I'm still working on that will get in my way and get in my brain.
I think some of it is how the car is on the track. So some of it is if the shifting points are good. So I feel like the Honda at Thompson does pretty well because it's not like you're going third, fourth, right? Like when you have those tracks where you're in those bands and you're doing extra work, and I guess that's part of it. It doesn't feel natural to the car per se. And I feel like where there's corners, I keep coming back to Thompson because I'm just like, when you're coming up and over, before you're coming up and over the hill, if you're turbo powered on that, you just float through it. And that's part of the flow. That's part of the car is happy there. It's such a dumb.
No, I definitely think car being happy. We've talked about when we were trying to win, like what track benefits our car.
Mm-hmm.
Comfort. Yep. All right, Mental, can you roll that into something else?
Yes. So what we're not just talking about our greatest moments to brag, oh, we're such great racers. There is a point behind this, and what Jeff brought up, what's the formula? And this is something that I took from racing, specifically from this team, my other three co-hosts here. And the idea, it's called proprioception or kinesthesia, and you can use this as motivation. So ideally, as you're listening to this, you're thinking back to your best moment on the track, maybe not your fastest moment, but the moment when you were most connected to the vehicle, when you were just driving your best without trying that hard. What did it smell like? What did it sound like? What track were you at? Can you recall the sense of the air as it came under your visor? Can you remember what it physically felt like? Because if you can use that with visual imagery to put your mind back in the same place before you get in the car. I took this from racing when I was coaching marksmanship, and it was huge. That team now has been carrying that down, and they are going to the state championships every year, and they've been getting better and better and better. So tell us, get a hold of us on our social media. What was your favorite time? But I want you to actually also think about it and think about what it felt like, what it sounded like, where you were, what were the sounds, the images, and the smells. And you can use that to meditate and put yourself back into a state when you get into the car so that you're not as nervous, you're more relaxed, and you're better set up to immediately get into that zone and put yourself up for success. It's a real science. It's not hippie nonsense. It's
truth.
Actual competitive, professional, athletic concepts.
Yeah. So. Can I make a book suggestion? Would that be too nerdy? Find the book Rise of Superman by Stephen Kotler. He explains a lot of this science, the neuroscience, and that Mental is just talking about. And he got it from Navy SEALs and Silicon Valley people and action sports people to talk about how to faster re-enter flow state. So the Rise of Superman, Stephen Kotler.
Link to that will be in our show notes.
Sure.
Sorry,
this was good.
Cool.
Oh, well, that's great.
Great.
No, it is. It's a good thing to think about, and I'm glad we talked about that. Actually, linked it, and you said the word meditation, because I think this is some things like if you can't go to sleep, I race a track in my head just to make sure that all the other things that are in my head can go away. So I try to go back to racing a track, but I like the idea of actually trying to put you back into a good place instead of being nervous about getting on track. Remembering the time that you were on track, and it was great. I was just also thinking when you said, how does it smell? And I'm like, it never smells good. Well, I mean, unless you think like burning cars, burning clutch, burning brakes,
sweat.
It does smell like home to me.
Oh no, but I guess I smell it and then I say, is that me? Not me, not like me. Like, is it my car? Not like, oh wow, you smell. That's what Jeff says. Wow, I smell really bad. That's
It's a manly musk.
he's doing something. He's not even listening.
No, I was putting in the notes the Rise of Superman, but somebody already did it.
He just
I was
said he
listening.
already did it. No, you
I know,
weren't.
but I didn't. He was
Well,
faster than I was. I was trying to do it at the same time.
We don't listen to each other. It's amazing.
Because I was putting in the notes. But anyway.
Anyway,
No, that's awesome. And I absolutely will say that whatever it takes to get you there, get there. If it's not racing a car, it's riding a horse or darning a sock or knitting I don't know what it is that gets you there.
And just like racing, you're not going to master it the first time. It's going to take some practice.
And even if after practice, you may not master it. So, but yes, sometimes it's a lot.
Awesome.
Okay,
Are we ready for the final segment of the show?
Yeah. Do you want to do it?
Sure, because it's been a long time since we've had just the I back up, but I'm wearing a headset.
So your office mates are thrilled of your yelling.
No, the lights are out. I can see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
good.
that's why I figured if you're ready to say it. Also, I like that you're back your head up, but your microphone is attached to your head. Okay. I want everybody to join in on this one. So we are going back to our annual reminder of outdoor safety, especially since we started talking about how we have been doing stuff outside. I have noticed some things, so we're going to talk about it. So mowing the lawn, and of course, you've heard most of these things. Mowing the lawn, making sure you're actually wearing shoes, probably pants if possible, especially if you're prone to poison ivy. It's coming soon. And I definitely, when weed whack or mow the lawn, it gets up onto my legs. So pants are really, even though it's 97 degrees, it sucks, but wear pants, always safety glasses, consider noise canceling headphones, especially if you don't have an electric lawnmower, which our neighbor does. And it's very quiet and you don't probably need them then. Ladder safety. So we went up on extension ladder that was pretty high up and it was pretty far extended. We made sure that we have a spotter friend, make sure that it's on, if it's not on level ground, or make sure it's as sturdy onto the ground as possible before you even attempt getting up. Obviously 3 points of contact. Sometimes that's even more difficult when you are trying to carry a wand to a power washer up to the top of your house. So make it
squirrel poison.
Yes. Or squirrel poison. Yes.
I do it the other week.
Right. Which I might need to borrow. But, consider getting a belt or something that you can hang things on, because having that 3 points of contact, or 4, because I was kind of holding on for dear life, and making sure you're wearing sturdy shoes. So typically when I power wash, if I'm on the ground, I had been wearing flip-flops because everything gets wet and filthy and cold and dirty and stuff. But I put shoes on because on a ladder, you need every bit of traction you possibly can have. So anybody else have any ideas of some outdoor safety that we should probably be considering now that it is spring and or summer where you are living?
I'm going to say watch the wasps.
Good idea.
Remember, I got stung in the eye while mowing. So you should always know where you're going when you're mowing.
Good idea. I actually
Especially
got
with alliteration.
I had yellow jackets. A bunch of them I got stung because we have them around here when I was mowing as well. So good idea.
Now we don't have the bush full of bees anymore going into the house.
We do not. No, we burn that to the ground.
Yep. Careful with chemicals. Some of them you're going to be spraying stuff. Make sure you're spraying it the right way, and don't drink the Roundup, kids.
Yeah, like a lot.
Nope.
Not to use Roundup. That's bad for the environment.
And for people.
Sure.
Right.
That goes without saying.
Okay.
Yes.
Chris already mentioned it's bad for people. I was saying it's also bad for the environment.
Totally.
What do you do with it? You got it, a jug of it.
Well, when I inherited a jug, I got it, but I never used it anymore. So.
Mental.
Until you got anything to add? Outdoor safety?
Scorpions.
Yeah. It's all nerdy. Oh, I don't want to wear safety gear when I'm mowing the lawn. I want to wear shorts. I when I was first joined the Air Force, we had a rotating duty where you had to come mow the lawn of the building. And because it was under the Air Force, you had to wear long pants, no matter how hot it was. You had to wear your boots and you had to wear safety goggles. And I'm out there complaining that I have to look like RoboCop while I'm doing this, as an acorn hits the safety goggles so hard, it cracked them. Since then, you have not seen me push or hold a lawnmower without a set of safety goggles or a pair of sunglasses on, because I would literally be walking around with one eye, and it would have been something so stupid, an acorn. Just, put on the safety gear, man.
And safety glasses and safety and actual glasses not created equal. And I just wrote an article for work about this because we have to wear safety glasses at work all the time. And a lot of people just buy the ones with their normal glasses with sides on them. It really behooves people to they're made out of different things. The actual glasses are not meant for acorns to be flown at your eyes. Normal glasses aren't. Safety glasses are. So really consider if you need them and wear them a lot, you should consider getting prescription safety glasses. More of a pain in the butt, but absolutely going to save your eyes. Maybe better than actual glasses. Okay.
I had no idea there were different kinds of glasses.
They absolutely are.
I mean, I know that there were different ones, but I didn't know they were. They're rating. Probably it always says like, what is it? ANSI? ANSI?
Correct.
Oh, I know something about safety.
Check it off. Oh, wait, we don't have that on your button. No, but that's absolutely correct. It's made out of different things.
Stay safe, everybody.
Please.
Especially if you're a corner worker or you're using the string trimmer.
Sure. I had a former coworker who once gave himself a pedicure with the lawnmower. So
no, thanks.
It's a real thing. Be careful. Yeah.
No, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sure that's what notice I said former coworker.
Oh no.
Next show promo.
Oh, okay. Yes, we do. This is, I think, originally my idea, but we are going to get amped. What is your music playlist to get you excited for your stint, the drive to the track, coming home, party in the paddock? We want to hear your songs. Also, if you have your flow song, can we add that in here, or is that a different show? Okay, yeah. So now that we're talking about shows, songs. Also, I'm not sure that this is actually going to make it to YouTube. We're not sure if this one's going to get cut off because we might have some songs on here and they might get kicked off.
Short clips of things will be okay, right?
Maybe like 3 seconds worth. But the other song is, so my additional idea is if you have that song that you think of while you're on track, that it's either you're in your flow state, if you are driving really well, or if you just need to like think of something to get other things out of your head. Do you have that one song that you sing in your head? And it might be Modulating the Gas by me.
The gas.
If you have something other than Modulating the Gas.
When I saw Ross Bentley at PRI, I tried to go up to him behind him and go, modulating the gas, modulating, but he was talking to somebody.
I'm sure that's good. So in addition to that, send us your Spotify playlist. Check out our collaborative playlist on Spotify and add your favorite tunes.
Cool. How can they find, for someone like me who doesn't use Spotify all the time, how do you find a collaborative playlist?
Oh, it's going to be under the Everyone Racers Spotify profile. You'll be able to find us under E1R.
E1R. Excellent. That's what I want to know. Was it under Everyone Racers or E1R?
Chris,
awesome.
Chris, are you ready? Okay.
We don't hear Chris. His mouth is moving. Wait. Let me do it. I'm at work. Your mic is muted. Your mic is muted.
It's not.
I like how at the same time as he was pulling away, now he's leaning into the screen, even though the microphone is
it's there. It's working.
From his mouth.
I was fading into the music. Fading in, Jeff. Come on. Aren't you? Don't even.
He's having anxiety. If he's like, I'm not holding it, so I can't do it.
Yeah, whatever. Shut up. Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe, totally free, and then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why, just like someone just did, which is wonderful. And you know what? We read it because that's cool. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text mental pictures of your junk, 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, or even Reddit at /E1R and that terrible cesspool. Thanks again. And everyone, till next week, keep the shiny side up, unless there is no shiny side, and keep your wheels down.